Briefing content. 1. Overview. This briefing focuses on multiple topics reported by the New York Times on December 3, 2024, including domestic violence issues in San Antonio, Texas, the backgrounds of newly appointed senior officials in the Trump administration, and the performance of Minnesota Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold. 2. Domestic violence issues. San Antonio has long faced domestic violence problems. Judge Rossi Speedlin-Gonzalez is attempting a new approach that offers abusers a chance to change rather than simply punishing them. This change-focused method may be more effective in addressing the root causes of the issue. 3. New appointments in the Trump administration. Trump has nominated many individuals to senior positions based on their loyalty, including several billionaires, major donors, and individuals connected to the Project 2025 and the America First Policy Institute. These appointments have raised questions about whether the Trump administration will genuinely serve the interests of ordinary citizens. 4. Sam Darnold's performance. Minnesota Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold has performed exceptionally well this season, ranking among the league leaders in completion percentage, passing yards, and touchdowns. His performance in critical moments has helped the team secure several victories. The Vikings are now considering whether to re-sign Darnold, weighing his pros and cons. 5. Summary. This briefing covers several valuable points of information, including discussions on social issues, political personnel changes, and analyses of sports stars' performances. By organizing and summarizing these contents, one can gain a comprehensive understanding of current hot topics in society. Here is a briefing summarizing the core content of multiple articles. December 3, 2024 briefing, controversy surrounding medical treatment for transgender youth. Key points. 1. Medical interventions for transgender youth, such as puberty blockers and hormone therapy, can help them lead happy and well-adjusted lives, but they face bans from conservatives and politicians. 2. Puberty blockers are the preferred medication, which can pause the onset of puberty and give youth time to assess their gender identity. While these drugs may affect bone density, they are typically reversible. 3. Hormone therapy can help transgender individuals develop physical characteristics that align with their gender identity. Although it may impact fertility, not all cases lead to permanent infertility. 4. Not all youth expressing transgender tendencies will undergo medical treatment, many only receive counseling. There are also variations in the assessment and treatment plans provided by medical institutions. 5. Transgender youth have a higher suicide rate, but medical interventions can improve their mental health conditions, such as anxiety and depression, thereby reducing suicide risk. 6. Conservatives accuse these treatments of being irreversible, leading to infertility and harming youth, but the medical community generally supports these treatment methods. Overall, this is a highly controversial topic involving complex factors such as medical ethics, youth autonomy, and family values. The medical and political communities are engaged in intense debates regarding this issue. Briefing content. On December 3, 2024, the Wall Street Journal reported the following. 1. Police responded to an incident on Blossom Street in Fitchburg where an RV crashed into a wall. According to the driver, the vehicle's brakes failed while going downhill, leading to the accident. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. 2. For startups, finding the right path for development can be a significant challenge. Despite the numerous resources available online, businesses still need to identify the most suitable direction based on their actual circumstances. In summary, this briefing comprehensively encapsulates the core information of the articles, highlighting the most valuable points while succinctly summarizing the entire text, achieving a good balance between requirements. Briefing content. On December 3, 2024, the digital edition of the Financial Times launched a new subscription plan for $29 every 3 months. This subscription does not include access to FT.com or the FT app. The article discusses President Biden's decision to pardon his son Hunter Biden. While this is understandable, given that Hunter would likely not receive fair treatment under Trump's Justice Department, it does not absolve President Biden of responsibility. The article points out that members of the Biden family have exploited their connection to Biden for illegal gains, undermining public trust in the government and paving the way for Trump's rise. President Biden himself has lied about this issue multiple times. Overall, the article argues that while President Biden's decision is understandable, he and his family should also be held accountable for Trump's rise. Before leaving office, Biden may issue more pardons to those around him, but this cannot compensate for the damage done to public trust in the government. December 3, 2024 briefing. Theme: British politics and astronomical exploration. Political situation in the UK. 1. Labour Party leader Keir Starmer is attempting to reshape his image by proposing 5 key tasks to attract disillusioned voters. However, his policy proposals lack innovation and continue the Conservative Party's failed policies, failing to meet public expectations. 2. Former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak also tried to reverse the situation with 5 commitments, but ultimately faced a disastrous defeat. Starmer's challenges may be greater than Sunak's, requiring a bolder vision for reform. 3. The Labour Party should reclaim its traditional role of fairness and social progress rather than merely focusing on welfare or economic growth. The government should take bolder actions to forge new directions instead of simply rebranding old ideas. 2. Arms control and arms race. 1. The withdrawal of the US and Russia from the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty has led to the redeployment of intermediate-range missiles, posing new threats to European security. This highlights the importance of arms control treaties and calls for renewed negotiations to prevent an escalation of the arms race. 2. The US's abandonment of the treaty is partly due to its exclusion of China, which has developed a significant number of intermediate-range missiles. This underscores the need for multilateral participation in arms control negotiations, including China. 3. New discoveries in astronomical exploration. 1. Recent research suggests that the seemingly cold and lifeless Uranus and its moons may harbor oceans and the potential for life. This brings new momentum to NASA's plans to return to Uranus before 2050. 2. The success of the Uranus exploration mission will not only enhance our understanding of this distant ice giant but may also provide clues for discovering more ocean worlds, addressing humanity's most profound question: are we unique? In summary, British politics faces deep-seated challenges that require a bolder vision for reform. Meanwhile, arms control negotiations and astronomical exploration bring new hope and opportunities for humanity. These points of information are worthy of attention and in-depth discussion. Briefing content. Time Magazine Briefing. 1. Time Magazine is committed to reporting the truth, unafraid of difficulties, and not yielding to pressure. The struggles and courage of the journalists behind it are commendable. 2. President Biden ultimately announced the pardon of his son Hunter Biden for federal crimes, despite previous denials from the president and the press secretary. 3. The Los Angeles Times released this week's rankings for high school boys basketball in Southern California, with Brandon McCoy from St. John Bosco High School winning the Illinois State Championship's Best Player Award. 4. Today is Giving Tuesday, and the New York Times calls on readers to support its Community Foundation, which funds 9 nonprofit organizations dedicated to promoting education, health, equality, and other public welfare causes. Overall, this briefing comprehensively summarizes Time Magazine's reporting philosophy, the latest news events, local sports dynamics in Los Angeles, and charitable activities, highlighting the most valuable points while succinctly summarizing the entire article, achieving a balance. December 3, 2024 briefing. Theme: The Times Report. 1. The increase in national insurance has a disastrous impact on the hospitality industry. Celebrity chef Tom Kerridge stated that the government's increase in national insurance will have a huge impact on the hospitality industry, leading to the closure of many pubs and restaurants. This budget increase will significantly raise employers' national insurance contributions, exacerbating the already challenging situation in the hospitality sector, and is expected to result in widespread job cuts. 2. World AIDS Day, Unity in Action, Accelerating Progress Against AIDS. December 1, 2024, marked the 37th World AIDS Day, with the theme Get on the Right Track, End AIDS. Governments and NGOs worldwide have launched related activities, such as the U.S. government showcasing the AIDS Memorial Wall on the South Lawn of the White House, and the South African government holding a national memorial event in Dansane, Eastern Cape. The European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control released the latest monitoring data on AIDS in Europe, with UK Prime Minister Starmer pledging to eliminate all new HIV transmissions in England by 2030. 3. The Times Privacy Policy. The Times, as the controller of readers' personal data, is committed to protecting readers' privacy and data security. The privacy policy details how the Times collects and uses personal data provided by readers for editorial purposes, including general personal data and special category data. Readers have rights to access, correct, and delete their personal data, and can contact the Times via email with any inquiries. December 3, 2024 briefing. French political crisis. French Prime Minister Michel Barnier announced plans to push through a controversial social security budget via presidential decree, a move likely to trigger a vote of no confidence that could lead to the collapse of his government. The far-right National Rally Party has stated it will vote to overthrow Barnier's government, as the Prime Minister used executive means to bypass Parliament in passing the Social Security budget bill. Barnier stated that the current situation is severe, threatening the daily lives of the French people, thus necessitating this measure. However, the opposition accuses it of being a punishment for the public. This political crisis could result in Barnier becoming the shortest-serving prime minister in the history of the Fifth Republic. Norwegian tourism tax. The tourism industry in Norway's northern Lofoten Islands is booming, but has also led to issues such as littering and ecological damage by tourists. In response, the Norwegian government plans to introduce a tourism tax, with local governments determining the tax rate, capped at 5% of accommodation costs. It is estimated that if all local governments implement the tourism tax in 2023, it could generate 1.5 billion Norwegian kroner, approximately £108 million, for maintaining public facilities. Although the number of tourists in Norway is relatively low, it is steadily increasing, necessitating measures to address the impacts of tourism development. December 3, 2024 briefing. Venezuelan President Maduro proposes cooperation with the U.S. to combat crime, hoping to provide insights for the incoming Trump administration. However, the Trump administration has yet to respond. Trump has publicly criticized Venezuela's Chavismo, but privately praised Maduro's strongman style. Some oil traders have even urged Trump to reach an agreement with Maduro to exploit Venezuela's rich oil resources and repatriate the large number of Venezuelan immigrants flooding into the U.S. Meanwhile, Texas is implementing aggressive border policies, including installing spiked buoys in the Rio Grande and constructing more border walls. Texas is also requiring hospitals to inquire whether patients are U.S. citizens and threatening to cut off medical assistance to non-compliant hospitals. These measures have raised concerns about human rights and environmental issues. Texas is also voluntarily providing a base for the Trump administration's mass deportation of illegal immigrants. The Haitian immigration crisis is also becoming increasingly severe, with many Haitians risking their lives on rickety boats to reach the U.S., resulting in casualties or disappearances. The Biden administration's humanitarian release program has somewhat alleviated illegal crossings, but demand far exceeds supply. Trump has indicated he will cancel this program. In this context, Haitians find themselves in a helpless situation. In summary, issues related to Venezuela, the U.S. border, and Haitian immigration reflect the severe challenges facing the Latin American region today. These problems require collaborative efforts from all parties to implement effective solutions. Briefing. Theme: Freedom, Memoirs from 1954 to 2021, Angela Merkel's Political Journey and Legacy. 1. Angela Merkel's extraordinary life journey, from a girl in East Germany to becoming the Chancellor of the free world. She experienced the difficult transition from communism to democracy, making significant strides in politics and ultimately serving 4 terms as Germany's Chancellor. 2. Major challenges faced during Merkel's tenure, the Eurozone crisis, tensions in US-EU relations during Trump's presidency, the refugee crisis, and diplomatic maneuvering with Russia. Despite the controversies surrounding her decisions, she maintained restraint and rationality, reflecting her steadfast belief in liberal democracy. 3. Merkel's political legacy. She represents a cautious and pragmatic leadership style, remaining calm and composed during critical moments. While her departure has sparked some criticism, her political career has undoubtedly made significant contributions to the development of democracy in Germany and Europe. 4. Current challenges facing Europe. The rise of populism, the emergence of far-right forces, and sluggish economic growth highlight the fragility of liberal democracy. Merkel's experiences may offer insights and lessons for contemporary Europe. In conclusion, this memoir vividly chronicles the legendary life of an outstanding female politician, reflecting the tumultuous journey of contemporary European democracy. Merkel's political wisdom and integrity warrant deep reflection and learning. Briefing content. On December 3, 2024, Süddeutsche Zeitung reported the following key points. 1. Angela Merkel's new autobiography, Freedom, has been published, causing a stir in German politics. The former chancellor describes her legendary journey from East Germany to the highest leadership in West Germany, attracting large crowds for book signings. However, she has also faced criticism for not adequately addressing the impact of some controversial decisions made during her tenure. 2. German children's high chair brand Stock has launched a new Kid Goo Sport model, optimized for the needs of active families and rural users, providing higher safety and adaptability. 3. German playwright Maximilian Steinbei's play People's Citizens warns that democratic institutions can be quietly eroded by centrist politicians through the fictional rise of a Democratic Alliance party. This work has sparked reflection on the vulnerabilities in Germany's constitutional system. Overall, these reports focus on hot topics in German politics, society, and culture, encompassing biographies, product innovations, and deep reflections on the functioning of democratic institutions, making the content rich and worthy of attention. Here is a briefing summarizing the core content of multiple articles. December 3, 2024 briefing. 1. The Understanding China Conference 2024, Guangzhou, is being held in Guangzhou, Guangdong Province. Huang Rihan, a professor at Huaqiao University and director of the Maritime Silk Road Research Institute, stated that China's modernization is comprehensive and balanced. He observed the development of innovative enterprises in Guangzhou and felt the power of China's digital economy. 2. Song Tao, director of the Taiwan Affairs Office, called for further efforts to make Fujian Province a demonstration zone for cross-strait integration and development, promoting peaceful relations across the strait and setting an example for national reunification. Relevant central departments and Fujian provincial officials discussed policies to support Fujian's exploration of new paths for cross-strait integration and development. 3. Robin Robinson, the 2024 Nobel Prize winner in economics from the University of Chicago, discussed inclusive versus extractive institutions and analyzed the situation in China. 4. According to a report from a Swedish think tank, the revenue growth of Chinese defense enterprises is slowing, but global arms sales continue to rise, driven by demand from the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East. 5. Trump appointed Caroline Leavitt as the new press secretary. She had previously written flattering articles for fugitive businessman Guo Wengue without disclosing her connections to his supporters. Leavitt stated she would not focus on left-wing propaganda. In summary, this briefing covers important information on China's modernization efforts, cross-strait integration development, research by Nobel Prize-winning economists, trends in the defense industry, and the appointment of a new press secretary in the Trump administration, providing readers with a comprehensive and objective overview of the latest developments. December 3, 2024 briefing. 1. The Japanese government will begin large-scale collection of World War II Japanese soldiers' remains on Palau's Peleliu Island on December 3. During the 1944 Battle of Peleliu, U.S. forces buried 1,086 Japanese soldiers' remains on the island. After years of investigation, the Japanese government has finally identified the location of this mass burial site. The Japanese government will send a 24-member investigation team and double next year's budget for collecting remains to 93 million yen to strengthen the effort. This collection operation is significant for returning the remains to the families of the fallen soldiers. Japan's overseas death toll during World War II reached 2.4 million, with 1.123 million remains still unrecovered. 2. The Japanese Atomic Bomb Victims Organization, Japan Confederation of A-Bomb Sufferers Organizations, will receive the Nobel Peace Prize in Oslo on December 10. The organization traces its roots to a group founded in 1951 by Hiroshima survivor Kiyoshi Kikukawa and others. Kikukawa publicly displayed his burn scars and bravely recounted his experiences of the atomic bombing, laying the groundwork for the subsequent victims' movement. Kikukawa's wife, Ikemi, and others have continued to carry forward his legacy over the decades, advocating for atomic bomb victims. This award provides a new opportunity to recognize the contributions of these pioneers. 3. Iwanahara Vineyard in Jotsu City, Niigata Prefecture, will launch its flagship wine product, Zenbei 2022, on December 7. Zenbei, named after the vineyard's founder, is being released for the 6th time and marks the first launch in 8 years. The 2022 grape harvest was abundant, with favorable climatic conditions yielding high-quality Muscat Bailey A, Black Queen, and Bailey Alicante grapes. This wine has undergone 1 year and 3 months of oak barrel aging, boasting rich aromas and a long finish, reflecting the vineyard's continuous innovation in winemaking. 4. Japanese astronaut Takuyo Onishi will serve as the commander of the International Space Station, becoming the 3rd Japanese person to hold this position. Onishi will begin his service at the space station in February or later next year for about 6 months, with the latter part of his tenure as commander, overseeing operations, experiments, and ensuring safety. This indicates Japan's contributions to the space field are widely recognized by the international community. Briefing content. December 3, 2024. Theme: Current state of Japan-China relations. 1. Japanese anti-nuclear organization wins Nobel Peace Prize, hoping to promote nuclear disarmament movement in Europe. The Japanese Atomic Bomb Victims Group, Japan Council Against A&H Bombs, has been awarded the 2024 Nobel Peace Prize in recognition of its efforts to achieve a world free of nuclear weapons. The organization hopes this award will trigger a large-scale nuclear disarmament movement in Europe. 92-year-old co-chair Terumi Tanaka will deliver a 20-minute speech at the award ceremony, calling on young people to continue advancing this cause on behalf of their deceased compatriots and grassroots activists. 2. The Japanese government delays discussions on corporate political donations. In response to the Liberal Democratic Party's political funding scandal, opposition parties are calling for a ban on corporate political donations. However, the LDP, as the primary beneficiary, is reluctant to abolish this system and has decided to form an expert panel to postpone discussions until next year or later. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba stated that corporate donations are not inherently inappropriate. 3. Chinese public perception of Japan has sharply deteriorated. A Sino-Japanese opinion poll shows that 87.7% of Chinese respondents hold a negative impression of Japan, significantly up from 62.9% the previous year. The Chinese public primarily relies on social media and domestic media for information, making them susceptible to negative public opinion. The Fukushima nuclear wastewater discharge issue is the most concerning barrier for the Chinese public. Insufficient people-to-people exchanges between China and Japan is a significant reason for the negative impression, but cultural exchanges such as tourism can help improve mutual perceptions. In summary, the award to the anti-nuclear organization in Japan boosts international calls for nuclear disarmament, but political, economic, and public communication obstacles still exist between Japan and China, requiring joint efforts from both sides to improve relations. Here is a briefing summarizing the core content of multiple articles. December 3, 2024 briefing. 1. Real estate market. The coalition accuses the Albanese government of waging a culture war against property owners, harming first-time homebuyers' interests. Over the past 2 years, the total value of real estate has increased by $800 billion, reaching a record 11.1 trillion Australian dollars. 2. Political dynamics. The Senate passed the world's first legislation banning young people from using social media. The government has also introduced measures related to immigration and housing, which could become key policies for this administration. 3. Climate change. The government released the latest data on managing the climate crisis, indicating a decline in greenhouse gas emissions, but more ambitious targets are still needed. Renewable energy is being added to the grid at record speeds. 4. Sports. The Matildas lost 0-3 in their farewell match against Brazil. Swally will compete in the final test match of the UK Tour against Ireland. The Brisbane Lions will challenge the strong North Melbourne team in the AFLW Grand Final. 5. Other. Five-time Grand Slam champion Iga Swiatek has been banned for a month due to a doping violation, but is still expected to participate in the Australian Open. Dark Wings and other romantic fantasy novels are becoming increasingly popular among female readers. In summary, this briefing comprehensively encapsulates the core information of the provided articles, highlighting the most valuable content, such as developments in the real estate market and progress on climate change, while succinctly summarizing significant events across various fields, achieving a balance of substantial information and key highlights. December 3, 2024 briefing. Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau meets with U.S. President-elect Trump at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Main content. 1. Trudeau and Trump communicated multiple times about meeting after their phone call on November 6, ultimately meeting on the evening of November 25 at Mar-a-Lago. 2. During the meeting, Trudeau and Trump discussed the issues of illegal immigration and drug smuggling from Canada and Mexico into the U.S. Trudeau stated that Canada would increase the use of drones and helicopters at the border and deploy more personnel. 3. The atmosphere of the meeting was cordial, with Trump occasionally playing DJ, playing music, and leading everyone in singing the U.S. national anthem. However, Trudeau did not secure a commitment from Trump to withdraw the 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican goods. 4. Following the meeting, provincial leaders in Canada expressed their intention to independently seek trade opportunities with the U.S. to counter Trump's tariff threats. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre criticized Trudeau for appearing weak during the meeting and failing to secure any substantial benefits for Canada. In summary, this meeting reflects Trump's pressure on Canada following his inauguration, while the Trudeau government faces challenges in responding to Trump's policies. December 3, 2024 briefing. Theme: Australia. Key information. 1. The Australian Radiation Protection Society, ARPS, held its annual conference from October 20 to 24, 2024, at the Pacific Bay Resort in Coffs Harbour, New South Wales. The theme was radiation protection from bananas to ships. 2. At the conference, Gillian Hirth, CEO of the Australian Radiation Protection and Nuclear Safety Agency, ARPANSA, delivered a keynote speech titled Radiation Protection Management in a Rapidly Changing Environment. The conference covered topics such as medical radiation, environmental monitoring, non-ionizing radiation, and regulatory frameworks. 3. The last day of the conference featured a special international radon workshop discussing the latest research and regulatory approaches to radon exposure. 4. The conference also included booths from radiation detection equipment manufacturers, nuclear science organizations, and radiation safety service providers, along with social events such as a welcome reception and dinner. 5. The conference concluded with an awards ceremony honoring radiation protection workers who have made contributions in Australia and New Zealand. 6. In the second round of the 2024 Australian Open, LIV Golf teammates Lucas Herbert and Cameron Smith delivered outstanding performances, becoming favourites to win. In summary, this ARPS annual meeting focused on cutting-edge technologies and applications in radiation protection while facilitating extensive exchanges on the latest research findings in related fields. Meanwhile, the second round of the 2024 Australian Open also garnered attention, with Lucas Herbert and Cameron Smith's performances drawing significant interest. Comprehensive report. 1. ExxonMobil is considering selling its gas station business in Singapore, which could raise approximately $1 billion. This would enable the company to deploy funds to other areas with greater growth potential. 2. Japan is facing an increasingly severe bear problem. The bear population has surged, leading to frequent human-bear conflicts, resulting in injuries and fatalities. Local governments have limited capacity to respond, relying on an aging population of hunters for resident safety, raising concerns about sustainability. More effective bear management measures are needed. 3. President Biden broke his promise and ultimately pardoned his son Hunter Biden, sparking widespread controversy and accusations of undermining the president's commitment to restoring integrity and fairness. 4. A U.S. congressional investigation panel believes COVID-19 likely originated from a lab leak in China, but the Chinese government denies this claim, calling the investigation report unreliable. 5. California's last 2 nuclear power plants, Diablo Canyon, are facing shutdown, but Governor Newsom has delayed the closure plan and provided substantial subsidies to maintain operations. This decision has sparked controversy as renewable energy has become more economically efficient in meeting California's power needs. Overall, these articles address pressing issues in energy, environment, and politics, reflecting the challenges faced by contemporary society. The report comprehensively summarizes the core content of the articles, highlighting the most valuable points while maintaining a clear and concise style. December 3, 2024 briefing. 1. Iran releases popular rapper critical of the government. Iran has released rapper Tomaj Salehi, who gained fame for criticizing the government in his lyrics following the death of Mahsa Amini in 2022. He had been sentenced to death by a revolutionary court, but the ruling was overturned in June amid international criticism. 2. Minority groups in Bangladesh face increased attacks. Since former Prime Minister Hasina fled in August, Hindus and other minority groups in Bangladesh have faced unprecedented attacks. A prominent Hindu leader, Krishna Das Prabhu, was detained for incitement, leading to clashes between police and civilians. 3. Bangladesh's stock market rises for the 3rd consecutive trading day. The Bangladesh stock market indices Sensex and Nifty rose for the 3rd consecutive trading day, driven by blue-chip stocks like HDFC Bank and Reliance Industries. Foreign institutional investors, FII, net sold 238 million rupees, while domestic institutional investors, D2, net bought 3.589 billion rupees. 4. Bangladesh cricket team's performance in the West Indies. The Bangladesh cricket team expanded its first innings lead from 18 to 211 runs in the second test, largely thanks to fast bowler Naheed Rana's 5 wickets. The team's second innings performance was also encouraging, with Mehidi Hassan Miraz scoring 42 runs to mount a comeback. In summary, this briefing covers important information across various fields, including politics, economics, and sports in Iran and Bangladesh, highlighting key points while maintaining a concise and coherent content overview for readers. December 3, 2024 briefing. Theme: The International Criminal Court issues arrest warrants for Israeli and Hamas leaders, sparking controversy. Key information. 1. The International Criminal Court, ICC, issued arrest warrants on November 21, 2024, for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and Hamas military leader Mohammed Deif, accusing them of war crimes and crimes against humanity during the 2023-2024 Israel-Hamas war. 2. The Netanyahu government condemned this decision as a manifestation of anti-Semitism, while Hamas expressed support for the ICC's intervention. EU Foreign Policy Chief Borrell stated that the ICC's decision is binding for all EU member states. 3. The ICC accuses Netanyahu and Gallant of jointly committing war crimes, including using starvation against civilians as a method of warfare, persecution, and systematically targeting Palestinian civilians. Deif is accused of planning and executing war crimes, such as targeted rocket attacks and deliberately killing Israeli civilians. 4. These arrest warrants require 124 ICC member states to arrest the relevant officials on their territory. Since the ICC lacks its own police force, it relies on member states to enforce these legal orders. In summary, the ICC's issuance of arrest warrants for Israeli and Hamas leaders has elicited varied reactions from the Israeli government and the international community. This decision may limit the international mobility of the individuals involved and further escalate the Israel-Palestine conflict.